Hello, welcome to an overview of MyLab Foundational Skills 2018 update. What we're looking at here is the home screen, and this is what the students as well as the instructors see when they log in. As you can see on the left side, there are the navigation buttons for the students as well as the instructors. And there are a couple there that have a student with a line through that. That means those are only available to the instructors, so the students do not see this. In the middle here, you will see where the students will begin working their diagnostic from and their assessments also. This course has already been set up by the coordinator for your state, so the content has already been set up and the settings have already been predetermined, so you don't have to worry about anything like that. All of the assignments are preloaded into the program, and once a student completes those assignments, they are automatically populated into the gradebook, and I'll walk you through all that. So what a student will see when they first log in is this calendar view of assignments, and then the areas in which that they need to work on. And you can see that there are reading skills, writing skills, and math skills. If you look at these three buttons here that say Path Builder, that is the diagnostic assessment the student must take before they begin working in the program. Once they complete the Path Builder, then their individual learning path will be developed, which shows the students what they need to work on, what their strengths are, and is just a very good encouraging tool for them to visually see as they work through the program. If you look at the reading skills, I'm going to go ahead and select Path Builder as if I'm the student, and you can go in as a student and practice these assignments. I mean, you can go in as the instructor and practice the student assignments, but I'm going to select Path Builder. And you will see the first thing I am prompted to do is to take that pretest. I cannot begin working in the program until I complete that pretest. There is a tutorial on each page. If students need assistance on how to input answers, they can watch that tutorial. There's also a little question box up here, which is the resource tab, and then a print option. I cancel this. And let's look at the writing skills. Again, it says Path Builder, so let's click on that. You will see again, the student cannot begin working. They have to take the pretest here. There's 40 questions. And again, the same resources are available on this page as well. Now let's look at math. Click that Path Builder, and let's act like we are going to actually take that diagnostic test. So I'm going to start the test. And once the test is loaded, this is what the student will see. They'll have the question. There's also the save for later option in case the student cannot finish at that time. Say there was a fire drill or something like that, they will not lose their work. So they answer the test. They want you to complete the chart, simplify your answer. Once they put in an answer, then they hit the check mark down here and they'll go to the next question. There are 40 questions. There are no resources available on the page for students to use. This is just on their own. So I'm going to act as if I've completed the whole test and submit it. It's going to ask me, are you sure you want to submit it? I'm going to say yes. Told me I haven't completed it, but I'm going to submit it anyhow, just so we can see what that learning path looks like. So because I didn't do well on the test, didn't answer any questions, the whole learning path is filled with all of the modules of the math program. You can encourage students to do the best that they can on this initial Path Builder because it will limit the number of modules they have to work on. You can see I have pencils on all mine, but if they took their time and actually mastered some of these modules, there would be stars here, which meant that they have mastered the program. So I'm going to go into the learning path, and this is pretty well the button that the students will always select. You can see we're in math. You do have the ability to toggle up here at the blue bar between the disciplines. You could go over to writing skills. Notice it's gray, it's grayed out. Notice reading skills are grayed out, and that is because I have not completed that initial diagnostic, that path builder. The only reason math is open is because I went in there and I completed that path builder. And you can see there's a green check showing that's what I've done. The student can review it, and if you want, you can have them retake it. And then here are all the modules down here that I must complete. It's usually best practice to go in order. I'm going to start off with basic math, and this is the second thing that the student will do. They'll choose the module. So let's start with basic math. Now, what's nice about this program is it doesn't matter which discipline you're in. It's very user-friendly because each of the disciplines will flow out the same. So the first thing you can do when you go into a module is you can take the skills check. The skills check is a smaller diagnostic, and it only covers these topics. So if you remember the first diagnostic, that path builder that I took a few minutes ago, that had 40 questions. It was over all the entire math modules. This skills check is just over these topics. And a lot of times this is a lot easier for students to focus on. There's not as many questions, and it's just focused on certain topics within that list. So I'm going to select skills check. And you can see this one only has 18 questions. So it is a best practice to use this, because if students do well on this, again, some of these pencils over here that mean they need to work on it can turn to stars, and that will show that they have mastered those topics. And then they will begin working. And you can see in the topic list, they're all listed here on the left, and the activities that go with the topics are over here. And as I click on those different topics, you see the activities look the same. That's what I mean by it's very user-friendly. Once a student gets into a module, begins working some of those topics, they become really confident in the flow of the program. If you look up here at the top right, there is the legend. If you ever want to know what the symbols mean in the program, or the student wants to know what does the pencil mean, what does the star mean, you can look that up in the legend. You also have the ability to print this page. And here is the help button. This help button is on every page. It's for the student as well as the instructor, and it is your first go-to for any kind of help. I'm going to click on that question mark. You will see a window pops up, and I can type a word or a phrase that I need help on, or I can just scroll down on the page and find the topic. The good thing about this particular help button on this page, it is specific just to questions that relate to this page. So every time you go to a different page, and when you select that help button, you will only have the topics found on the page that you're on. So it's very page specific. So you see the first thing that a student needs to do is take the skills check. So we're going to act like I already did that. And then the second thing would be to select the topic. And like I said, it's usually best practice to go in order. So we're going to start with counting and comparing, and we're going to do the overview. Notice for your state, students must score at least a 70% on the assignment before they can go on to the next assignment. So there is a 70% prereq required. All right, let's go to that overview. And let's click on the overview, counting and comparing. You'll see this is a PDF. And what this does is it just introduces the student to some of the vocabulary that they're going to be seeing within this module. This is a very low stakes assignment. It's just a completion assignment. as soon as they go through this, it'll go into the grade book as 100%. And I'll show you that in a minute. They can read it themselves if they want, or they can have it read to them. And you can see this one is lengthy. Most of them are not this long. They're only like a minute or two, but this one is 7 minutes and 57 seconds long. So when they finish that, they close it and they go back to that learning path. And now you will see, I have completed the first assignment, got a star there, it's mastered, and it's in the grade book at 100%. The next thing that I have to do is the getting started. I'm going to select this. You can see there are 13 questions. Again, it reminds the student they have to have a 70%. And I'm going to go to question 1. So before the student begins, they need to be made aware of the resources that are available for them on each page. Remember, we're in math right now. And if you look up here at question help, I'm going to click on that. The student has the ability to look words up if they want. If you want, you can put your email address in there and they can ask you questions, and then they can also print. Once they answer the question, they get an opportunity to check their answer before moving on. So I'm going to check my answer, and it will tell you if your answer is correct or incorrect and why. So they get the opportunity to try again. So I'm going to try again. And this is my final check. I will not be able to do the question again. I missed that one, so I need to go on to the next one at this point. And then they'll move through each question. There's 13 here. There is that option to save. I'm going to go ahead and do that right now while we're in the middle of a question, because I want you to see what that looks like for a student if they had to come out of the assignment before it was finished. So on this level, it shows that I was on question 1. I did not get it correct, but I want to go to that learning path, which is the button the student will select. And when they come in tomorrow, say, to start again, they'll be able to tell very quickly where they need to start. I have completed the overview and got 100%. I started, you can see that green check, I started the getting started, but I did not finish. I have a 0%. And since there is the 70% prereq, then I'll need to go back to there and finish those 13 questions. The next assignment a student would do is they would begin to start on the practice. And I'm going to go ahead and go through that 70%, but they would be stopped. Now, when I start the practice, you will see on this page, again, some resources that are available for the student right here under that question help. But there's a new one here now. It's called Help Me Answer This and View an Example. And these are very good resources that are available to students on the page that they're on. They just click on it and it'll kind of take them through some more questions related to that, give them a practice opportunity, and then allow them to also check their answer before answering the actual question in the assignment. There's also View an Example. And again, it'll give them an example and let them see this problem worked through. And once they finish that, they can close it out. They can save for later, like I showed you before. And they put their answer in. Again, they're able to check their answer. Sorry, that's incorrect. It tells them why. Okay, they have another opportunity to answer that question, check their answer again, and when they get it correct, this is what they see. Again, I'm going to hit that save. I'm not going to finish the whole assignment, but I'm going to save it for later. It'll bring the student back to that page where they select that learning path. And now when they check in later, they'll see again where they are, what they need to finish. They always need to finish the prereqs first, which I skipped that, but they don't need to do that. But again, the score accumulates here, so they're able to see that. Once they go through all the practices, and for your state, they need to get at least a 70% on one of those assignments. So it may take, you know, some students 4 or 5 practices to get there, and it may take some students 1. And as soon as they get that 70%, then they can go on to the next assignment. Let's skip down to the apply so I can show you what an apply looks like. I'm going to go ahead and continue. There are 8 questions in there, so I'm going to start with the first one. And again, we have the same resources available on the page for the student. Here is the problem that they need to read and then answer. The resources here, again, are available for the student. Help me answer, view an example, glossary, ask my instructor, and print, and then the save for later option as well. I'm going to go back to the learning path. And then the last thing that the student would do is take the post test. And the post test is an assessment over the activities in this one topic. And it pretty well looks like everything else we've been doing, except it only has 10. So I'm going to click on that. And again, no resources are available when they are testing, so they'll just answer the questions and go on. Once they finish all of the topics in this list here, all of the activities associated with the topics, then the very last thing they do, the 4th thing here, is they take a module mastery to demonstrate mastery. The module mastery is the assessment over all of these topics right here, all of these. So in the beginning, if you remember, the student took the skills check over all these topics. At the end, they take the module mastery, which is the assessment over all these topics as well. And it flows out just like the rest do. This particular one has 19. No resources will be available to the student because this is a test. Students also have the ability to do extra practice if they want. All they have to do is select on that and then choose what they want to work on. And this is also loaded to the grade book for you as well. So I've been using the buttons up here. We're in extra practice. I could go back to basic math by going back right there. Or I could come over here to the left because these navigation buttons take you the same places as these buttons up here do as well. So we've been in math. Let me click on math. And if I wanted to begin working in math, just like I was doing a minute ago from the calendar view, I could do the same thing right here by just selecting the learning path. And again, the same window will pop up, all the modules, and then I would just begin working. It's usually just a matter of preference if the student wants to use, you know, the navigation buttons on the left or the ones at the top. There's also this ability, My Progress, for students to monitor their progress as they're working through. They can toggle between all 3 disciplines. We're in math right now, and since I've started, this has begun to fill up, showing me, you know, what I've done and the scores that I've got. And they can filter it by time or by module to see what they've been doing. It also gives a good idea of how long they're spending in the assignment. You know, if they're getting 40% and they're only spending 1 minute, that might be the issue. And they have the ability to review, and you can review it with them as well. All right, I'm going to go back over here to the left and use these buttons. I'm going to go back to main menu. And you will see now, when the student logs in, they have completed the math path builder because now it says next activity, but they still need to do the path builder for the writing and the reading before they can begin the activities. Students also have some resources over here at their fingertips as well. The multimedia library. And this can bring up any of the multimedia resources that are available, and they can select which ones they want. They can select, which module they want it for. Maybe they just want it for whole numbers. Maybe they have a specific topic that they want to find. They want to do factoring, and then they can just select find, and those will be loaded right here for them. Student tools also down here. Students are able to email. There is a discussion board format if you'd like to use. I doubt you will be using document sharing. That is where students could upload an assignment into the program for you. But all of the curriculum is preloaded into the program, and that is not necessary. When I used to teach English, I did use that feature because students were writing essays. And then student help. This is really, really important that students know where their resource button is. So I'm going to click student help and select it again. And it also, if you want to check system, requirements, making sure your browser is compatible, all that is there. But right here under support, it's student support that the student would select. And this is the first place a student would go if they were having some kind of technical issues. So they log in here, and you can see we have the 5 most common things students ask for. And they would just follow the prompts, select whatever they're having problems with, and follow the prompts, and then they would get in touch with tech support. And that was right there under student help. I'm going to go back to main menu. Reading and writing will appear the exact same way. They'll go in there and they'll go to the learning path, and they'll need to take their path builder, and then their modules will open up, and they flow the exact same way as the math did. So I'm not going to go into all of those. What I'd like to show you now are the tools that are available for instructors. So the first one, which has the student through the line through it, is the Manage Course. There's nothing for you to do in here because it's already been pre-loaded for you by your state. So I just wanted to make you aware it's there, but there's nothing for you to do in this tab. The tab that you're going to want to spend time in is this one that says Instructor Tools. You can see there are several instructor tools here, and again, the students do not see these. There's a View Alerts. If students are not working or submitting their assignments or logging in inactivity, their names will populate down here with this information. And don't forget that you can toggle between the disciplines up here and get that same information. Works needs grading you probably will not use because this would be for assignments that were uploaded, and you're not going to use that feature because all the assignments you will be having your students do are already embedded in the program. So inactivity, which would mean students not working at all, and then exhausted resources, and you probably will not be using that, that tab either. Manage Grades is the one that you will spend the most time on. And I'm just going to show you what Manage Grades looks like, but your next training that you will do, we will dive into the grade book. And at that point, you will have students that have already completed work in your course. So it will make more sense to you at that time because you'll actually get to see student data. So I'm not going to go deep into this. I'm just going to show you the overview of it, but I will on the next training. There are 4 ways you can view results by in the grade book. The first one is the learning path. The second one is by assignments, student overview, and performance by module. Each one of them will give you specific information related to that. You have the ability to drill down information on modules or topics, and what will happen is this information will populate down here. And we will go into that in more detail once we do the gradebook training. Other things that are in the gradebook that are helpful are under here, under export data. I want to show you some things there. There's some really good data that you can pull from this program that shows student progress in a variety of ways. And when we do go into the gradebook training, I will show you how to pull reports that drill down specifically to students or modules or grades, whatever it is you want to pull down by. And what you will do is filter down and start choosing what you want to look at. Say you're interested in looking at tests. You'll just filter down in here and select what you want and then export the data. The data will come to you immediately down here in a file. You can't hurt anything by playing around with this and pulling down reports until you see the one that you see that you want to do. That's called the quick export, and that comes to you immediately. The advanced export is one that is actually sent to Pearson, and it can take up to 24 hours to receive the report back. I've never seen it take that long, but that's what it says. This one has a lot more filters at this time that you can drill down to if you're interested in how long students are spending. If you want to look at a specific content area, a specific module, you can drill down to all those. So like I said, we will go into those in detail in the gradebook training, but you can also pull down reports right now and just kind of explore and see the different kind of reports that are available. After you do receive those reports, you can always go back to them and retrieve them right here. And don't forget the question mark up here in the top right-hand corner. If you had any questions on reports, that would be a good search place for you to find answers. So that's the gradebook. That was under Manage Grades. Now let's go down to Manage Assignments. Remember, you have all three disciplines up here at the top. And this is how you manage assignments. I really don't see you doing anything in this because everything's been preloaded for you, but I did want to show you where you can actually look at all the assignments. So that will be in this middle column under Customize, under View and Manage All Assignments. Remember, I'm in Reading. I selected Reading at the top. And there are several filters here on this page as well. I can see all of them, but say I just want to see Test. I can filter down to Test. Maybe we already finished beginning reading and now we're in Fundamentals. So I want to look at the assignments in Fundamentals. I can view all of them, or I can even drill down more per topic. I just want to look at main idea ones. And you can see that's the only thing that exists for that assignment. Notice this line here too. When you're looking at these assignments, you can look at all the assignments that are loaded in the program, or you can just look at the ones that are assigned to your students. So let's go back to maybe beginning. Yeah. And you can see now I have more assignments populated there because this is what they've been assigned to do. There is an action bar over here on the right. And say you wanted to, you never want to unassign or edit or copy or delete. This has already been handled for you by the state. But say that you wanted to maybe preview that assessment. You wanted to look at that assignment. You could actually go through this and see each question. You also, in this drop-down action box, if you hit List Questions, Here you will see the questions that are listed in that module, the objective associated with it, how difficult the question is, and the estimated time it takes a student to complete those. Just some more information. And again, don't forget that question mark up there if you have any questions about this page. But this is just the page that shows all the assignments in any of the disciplines if you want to see what's been assigned, and if you want to see, you know, is it a test? Is it a homework item? And again, you can look up all those symbols, what all these symbols mean up here in the legend. The next navigation button for instructors is Manage Announcements, and it's just what it says. If you want to put an announcement there for your class to see, you could post one there. Update settings and coverage you will not work in. It's already been determined for your state. Once your students begin to work, your roster will populate with their names right there. No customization will need done by you, and the managed learning path has already been pre-selected for you. But here's the button that's really important for you. This is the instructor help button. This is your first place to go when you need technical assistance. You must select instructor help. And you'll see it's very similar to the student help button. If you look down here where it has support, I'm going to select educator support. And right here are the two buttons that are probably the most important. Also, the system requirements over here is helpful too, but how-to lessons. When you open this up, you will see this PDF document that has different topics that you may be interested in. And you can just select the topic you're interested in, and then it'll take you to the PDF with screenshots on that exact topic. So if you had any questions about anything, this would be a great resource to use. Also at the top of that how-to, there is a quick start guide for students as well. This can be helpful, helping your students navigate around. I know in your state, you are also emailed specific instructions for your course and your students. So you'll have all this ahead of time. And then there's the videos. There is a playlist, a YouTube playlist that has every topic related to the program that you can think of. They're really short and to the point, you know, a minute and a half. So just kind of find your topic and choose your video if you'd rather see it instead of read it. And that was under instructor help right down here. All right, I'm going to go back up here to the main menu. And we're at that home page again, where the students will begin working and where the navigation bars are at the left. And then once they begin working, they also will be able to navigate from the top. I want to thank you for joining the training today and hope you have a great day. Thank you.